Hello everyone, welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going to chat about decks that I'm going to bring out for spring and kind of what I'm rotating through. I think which is super exciting. I love the springtime. I love seeing everything grow. I've got a garden. I've had a garden for 2 years but slowly have been building and I'm loving watching it all come back when I planted last year. Yeah, and I've recently as I've kind of gotten more into tarot and it's become one of my main hobbies, I've been collecting a few more decks. And last year I didn't really have any that I would classify as like spring decks, whereas this year I have a couple and I'm excited to show them to you. So yeah, these are the ones that I'm gonna get out for spring. Let's start. To start off with, we have the Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. Now, I got this when it came out in October last year. Had a look through the beautiful chunky guidebook, had a look at the cards, was really put off by the lack of quality in the box, by the chipping on my cards after really light handling. I don't know if you can really see it, but I was really put off. Also, I love the Oracle deck so much. I think the Oracle deck is so cohesive, and even though in the deck, for the Oracle deck, the Woodland Wardens, there are animals that are not Woodland Wardens, it still felt so cohesive because of the flowers and the plants and the design. Whereas this, so I was expecting more of the same. This was not it. This was not it. And so I'm bringing this out this spring. One, because I think it has a spring vibe. And I am going to try and give it a go one more time before I rehome it. It is a deck of high highs, like the Eight of Pentacles on this hedgehog, and low lows for me. To be honest, that's a low low for me. She kind of like anthropomorphized some of these animals and didn't so much others. And while I don't mind, see, sorry about the rocking. I actually love this card. But there's cards where she just like, this one. Oh my God, this is one of the worst. I mean, that might be strong language. This is one of my least favorite death cards I have ever seen. What really frustrated me was I felt like some of these cards, because I really love this devil, are so mystical. I love this tower. And I even love this star. Iffy on the sun. I really don't like this judgment. Oh gosh, see, I'm maybe becoming more harsh with time. I really like this world. I really love this Ace of Pentacles. I don't mind this Two of Pentacles. Love the Three of Pentacles. Don't love that. Like, I feel like she flipped so much between this kind of like mysticism and almost like too much reality. I love this Magician. I think that's super cute. I think the raccoon contextually makes sense to be a little anthropomorphic. You know what I'm trying to say. And this deck just is not cohesive to me. Despite Jessica Rue is a beautiful illustrator, and I feel so strongly about art and artists, and I feel so strongly about AI's place in my spiritual practice, i.e. it doesn't belong, and I feel strongly about supporting artists, but this deck just did not. See, I even love this Four of Arrows. I don't know. I think after this, I'm gonna really find out if it's gonna work for me or if it's just one that I'm really gonna have to pass on. I even really like this Lovers. See, I feel like her strength is just in the nature. And I got this because I didn't really have it. I hate this chariot. Sorry. Hate strong. I really dislike this chariot. Why are they like Roman donkeys? I don't understand. I do, however, really like this strength, really love it. I think her strength is like I didn't have an animal deck. I wanted an animal deck. I loved the Oracle cards, so I thought, hey, this will be, you know, a fair shot. And at the time, I worked at a bookshop and I got a discount, so I did not pay full price for this. So I was like, I will take a risk on this. And yeah, I don't think I would have paid. I would have been really upset if I had paid full price for this. Don't love. I do love that it's a boar. That is a woodland animal. But there's also just like, one of my pet peeves is like, why do we have a crab in the Woodland Warden's tarot? Where is like a kingfisher? I just like, why is a South American animal in the Woodland Wardens? I don't know. I guess technically like a rainforest is a woodland, but that's a rainforest. When I hear woodland, I don't think of a rainforest. Wow, I need to take a breath. I'm really working myself up. Cute, really cute. Love these creatures. I don't think it has any place in this deck. This is just not cohesive, despite the beautiful art and despite like a lot of the major arcana are so stunning. I love this Empress. I think she's beautiful. I don't love this Seven of Cups. Maybe if I'm like working through this and I'm like, this is just like not for me. It's not. Don't love this Moon. Why does he look like he works on Wall Street? Sorry. I love this High Priestess though. She's beautiful. She's stunning. She's gorge. Maybe because there are some that are just beautiful and I love her work. Maybe I'll just like use the cards that I love and put them in like frames around the house or something, or I'll sell it. If no one wants to buy it, maybe I'll like art it. So yeah, the lack of cohesiveness, then the cardstock quality, like chipping after really light use, really puts me off wanting to use this deck. I mean, I have a full walkthrough where I kind of go into this and I'm just working myself up. But anyway, I've got this out. I'm going to see if it's for me. And if it's not for me, I'm going to rehome it. But I do think it has like spring vibes. It's got that like in between darkness and light that is very like reminiscent of spring, you know? So yeah, gonna get this out. See if it's for me. I mean, based on the state I was working myself up into, just like looking through this again, I'm not sure it will be. I did love the guidebook though. It's a beautiful guidebook. Love the guidebook. But I'm gonna put this away before I get even more angry. Yay! Let me just have a little bit of tea. I was explaining in another video, I filmed these on the day, sorry, my partner goes into the office, and this is the first time I speak all day, so my voice is a little scratchy, you know? All right. Next deck, sorry. The next deck and the only Oracle card deck I'm bringing into spring and want to use this spring is the Folklore Oracle by Hatness Knox, Giada Rose. This is a beautiful Oracle deck. I actually, low-key, I have the Seasons of the Witch Austera deck and I rehomed it because I just felt like it was repetitive. I didn't feel as connected to it as I did to like Imbolc or Beltane. So I rehomed it. But this deck is stunning. I think it also has this kind of liminal energy of like in between the seasons. And yeah, it's the only Oracle deck I think that I'm gonna work with this spring. I'm kind of always working with, I have the Feminine Myth Oracle by Suki Ferguson. Not Suki Ferguson. Not Suki Ferguson. Oh my gosh, I literally love her art and have lots of her decks. Anna Novaeus, that's who. I have this Divine Feminine Myths Oracle from Anna Novaeus. And I'm always using that. But specifically this for spring, I think it just has that beautiful kind of liminal in between spaces energy. The art is gorgeous. I love Giada Rose. I've been wanting it for a long time. I got it for my birthday and I just really can't wait to use this. Funny enough, when I think of spring, I don't necessarily think of like, even though everything is blooming, maybe this is just like from growing up in Canada, everything is blooming, but the cold and the gray still hangs on. And so for spring, I really like a mix and in between. And I think this just has it. Oh, Shapeshifter. And I'm just so excited to work with it. Yeah. And I actually think this will go really well with like the other decks that I have, even the Tarot of the Woodland Wardens, which might help ease my experience and my frustrations towards that deck. Yeah. Can't wait to use this one. I have a full walkthrough posted. It's just really beautiful. Yeah. I know that's so unhelpful, but I guess like because it's a decks for spring, I don't know. I can get into more detail if you'd like. If you'd like more detail in my videos, please let me know. Some decks inspire a lot of detail off the top of my mind. Other decks inspire detail that I like ruminate about, and I'll be thinking about the deck and then I'll be like, oh, that's a detail I never thought about before, if that makes sense. It's okay if it doesn't. Up next, an absolute sleeper for me, and now one of my favorite decks, we have the Cottage Magic Tarot. I bought this with my birthday money, and initially I saw this on, I believe it was Lisa Pappas and Danny Mystic. They do like these are the decks that are coming video. And I saw them, look at this. And I saw the photos and I was like, not for me. Not for me, really not for me. I actually had quite strong feelings of that is not for me when I saw them looking through this deck. And then I was out for my birthday and I was in my local kind of mystic store and I saw this deck and something in me just was like, okay, I need it. I'm going to buy it, which is so unlike me. I normally have my deck sitting in my carts for like months before I purchase a deck, or if I see that it's up for pre-order, like I'm ruminating about it for ages. And so this is very out of character, and God, I love this deck. I love it. I find the color palette so calming. I get fantastic readings from this. Even though it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, I think it offers, really intuitive changes. And I think for me, like, when I'm confronting these deepest parts of myself, I don't always want the tool that I'm using to be as confronting as emotions that I'm feeling. Look at this 5 of candles. I mean, I've done a walkthrough and gone into this in more detail. I think this has big spring energy for me, mostly because of the color palette. I mean, also the content. You know how I literally was just saying, like, spring gives very, like, I love to see the colors, but also the grays holding on. There's kind of like a mutedness to the pastels that doesn't take away from its brightness, but gives me very much that spring energy. I had actually a really lovely subscriber mention that they were thinking of getting this. They were trying to decide between this deck and another deck for their first ever decks, which is so exciting. And God, I really love this one and really would just recommend it so much. And it's new to me. I can't wait to work with this more. The first reading I did with this was like a 12-month spread. I was like, here, let's go. Let's get into the deep end with this one. I just kind of immediately felt that connection and felt like, oh, we can go here. We can go big. We can go big and we can go detailed. And it was great. It was great. I know that these kind of dark cards can seem off-putting. They seem like they might not fit aesthetically. Trust me, they do. When you kind of lay everything out, all of the colors just work together. The motifs are repeated, and I could gush about this for a while. I mean, I don't think often, if you're someone who collects tarot cards or like reads a lot of tarot, engages with a lot of cards, for me, it's not often that I just connect so instantly and so wholly to a deck, especially like one that's Rider-Waite-Smith. And, you know, we kind of see a lot of the images all the time. I don't know if it's different for others. Maybe, you know, you're someone who like connects a lot with decks quite frequently. I am not. So this really took me by surprise, and a really beautiful surprise. And I can't wait to continue working with this more throughout the spring and probably into the summer. This is probably going to be a transitional deck for me from spring into summer. And I can't wait to see and to keep working with it. Look, my nails even match. How cute. That was not intentional, but that's so cute. Anyway, that is the Cottage Magic Tarot. If you'd like to see more, I do have a walkthrough. If you don't, no drama. I get it. No drama at all, you know? And last, but certainly not least, I have one more deck that I'm pulling out. And this is the Green Codex Tarot. Now, this is a lot for me to work with. Normally, I like to focus on like one or two, maybe 3 decks. But because of my animosity towards the Woodland Wardens, I thought I would just like get another deck that I actually like. Oh, there we go. You know, really love. And I've been really looking forward to working with. I got this deck, maybe in November time, I got this deck, I think. And I opened it, loved it, was like, it's not for me, not right now. Like, it's for me, but not for right now. Put it away, fully intending to get it out again come spring, summertime. Ooh, look at that. Sorry. I'm so excited to have this one out again. Speaking of liminal spaces, you know how I mentioned that the Folklore Oracle feels like it kind of belongs in that in between. Oh, cheeky pan. I feel this same way. He's just gonna go about this deck. This deck feels so liminal to me. I know that the colors are very muted and give like autumnal vibes, but also there's a lot of, the devil with that mirror. Oh, there's a lot of, I think, like, illustrations and art that alludes to like Beltane and these kind of spring and summer festivities. And I think this is one for me that is like a an autumn spring deck. It's both. It's an in-between deck. And I think that's really lovely. I don't always love a deck that only has one purpose. So, honestly, I'm getting chills a little bit. Like, I've been so looking forward to working with this deck. Look at that Empress. There's something quite haunting about her. See, do you see what I mean though? I think she's a great example of like, the colors are giving autumnal, but then we have new growth. We have, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot. Oh, look at this strength. So gorgeous. I think part of why this feels so liminal is because the imagery, is very I think reminiscent of like not quite a grim fairy tale, but not a Disney story. All of those kind of darker folk tales is what it really reminds me of. So I cannot wait, to work with this again. I've been waiting for it. Oh gosh, sorry, my throat. Sorry. I've been waiting for it. I feel like it's been waiting for me. Look at that Three of Swords. Oh. Do you know what? This just makes me think of the Bone Temple. I saw 28 years later first. Immediately the next day went to see 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Then I watched 28 days and then 28 weeks. But this kind of like reminds me of the Bone Temple, of Jimmy. Ooh, love that. I don't love that this reminds me of Jimmy's character. Do you know what? I think you guys know what I mean. That's, God. Four of Swords. Oh, I feel like my energy has been very high this video. There's like a lot of, I think, nudity in this deck. I don't think it's sexual per se. I think it's just more like the fact of the matter is it feels very powerful. This deck has a lot of energy. That is for sure. I saw it again in one of the This Is What's Coming Out videos and just knew that this had to come home with me. Oh, look at that Knight of Swords. Oh, the Princess of Swords. Love her. So yeah, I can't wait to work with this more this spring. I think it will definitely go away in the summer. I'll work with it for spring. It will go away in the summer and it will definitely like return in the autumn. Yeah, shuffle's lovely. What is this? Is a low Scarabeo deck. This was an expensive deck. And I don't necessarily think for any good reason. But I don't know production costs. I don't know how these things work. I do love, however, I just think the artwork is gorgeous. I do love a magnetic case. That's really nice. This is the only one that I have. The only deck that I have that has a magnetic case. So yeah, look at that Ten of Wands. See, that is very like Joan of Arc, isn't it? But yeah, those are the decks that I'm going to be using this spring. I can't wait. I don't tend to like change much of my practice seasonally, but I do like to change up my decks, especially because sometimes I get one and I'm like, love it. Not right now. Not for me right now. So I love to bring them out and then think about where I'm at now and why that's different to where I was when I first got the deck, if that makes sense. But yeah, let me know what you think. If any of them sparked your interest and if you like seasonal decks. But yeah, thank you for coming. And I will catch you at the next one. Bye.